c'est la dernière table ronde, le thème, l'éducation supérieure est-elle en phase avec le marché du travail? Voilà, c'est une question capitale, parce qu'à Maurice, de nouveau, je dirais bien de nouveau, on a des gradués chômeurs. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a beaucoup d'universités, universités étatiques, para-étatiques, privées, beaucoup. Je pense qu'il y a même une vingtaine. Vous venez d'assister à une présentation de quelques-unes. Et on forme, bien sûr, mais est-ce que les jeunes qu'on forme trouvent de l'emploi? Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas, par exemple, on forme des jeunes et pour des emplois fictifs qui n'existent pas dans le pays? Ou alors on ne les forme pas pour des emplois essentiels, importants. Ça peut être dans les deux sens. C'est-à-dire qu'on forme, mais ce n'est pas en phase avec le marché du travail, du moins à Maurice. On peut parler aussi de l'étranger, bien sûr, parce qu'on n'a pas précisé à Maurice. Alors, je pense que les intervenants donc, sont des acteurs de la scène de l'éducation supérieure. Alors, il y a donc à ma droite, Dr Kaviraj Sukon, directeur général de l'Open University of Mauritius, qui existe depuis plus de 10 ans. 10 ans. Et voilà, il y a donc professeur Marie Jansen van Rensburg, c'est Campus Director, Middlesex University. J'ai eu l'occasion d'aller à Middlesex et de participer à une rencontre pour la Journée internationale du livre, rencontre organisée par M. Gopal. Alors, donc, Middlesex, c'est une université donc, qui existe, elle nous dira depuis combien de temps, many years of existence. Et puis, Dr Sabrina Ramsamy Irana, qui est directrice de Fashion and Design Institute. Et donc, tout ça, c'est bien sûr, c'est les universités, mais aussi à l'autre bout. Fashion aussi, c'est un institut de formation. Donc, c'est comme les autres. Hein? Alors, voilà. Donc, c'est une question, comme je l'ai dit, essentielle à Maurice, là, aujourd'hui et demain. Et je pense que, comme le vice-président avait dit, lorsqu'on est allé l'inviter à inaugurer, je suis allé avec Jamil Soubadar, parce qu'on est allé inviter le vice-président à venir inaugurer. Il nous avait dit quelque chose, et c'est bien. Il nous a dit que les personnes qui viennent sont les personnes qui sont, comme on dit, aux responsabilités, directeurs, directrices. Alors, ces personnes pourraient, dans un premier temps, bon, c'est-à-dire, elles vont parler librement, nous dire quelle formation qu'ils proposent et est-ce que cette formation est en phase avec le marché de l'emploi. Hein? Que deviennent les étudiants, les étudiantes formés par les universités? Est-ce qu'il y a eu des études par les instituts aussi? Donc, je pense que ce qu'il a dit, c'est... Ce qu'il voulait dire, c'est qu'il y avait le vice-chancellor qui avait participé à une table ronde, l'ancien directeur du MAI, lorsque M. Boissaison a dit, ils ne peuvent pas venir dire ce qu'il faut faire, ils doivent parler aussi de ce qu'ils font ou de ce qu'ils ont fait, ou de ce qu'ils n'ont pas fait. Alors, je trouve ça très, très... Oui, parce qu'ils sont là, ils ont été. Alors, c'est ce qu'effectivement, le docteur Vassin Naïk et le professeur Danjay Jury ont fait. Ils ont parlé aussi de ce qu'ils ont essayé de faire, des réalisations, bien sûr, et puis des défis à relever à l'avenir, surtout dans un monde qui change constamment. Ça change constamment. Et voilà. Donc, je vais passer la parole donc, à la personne qui est la plus proche de moi, donc Dr Kaviraj Sukon, donc, qui va essayer donc, de proposer des éléments de réponse à la question: l'éducation supérieure est-elle en phase avec le marché du travail? Peut-être deux axes. En général, éducation supérieure, mais aussi, il pourrait parler de l'Open University of Mauritius. Dr. Sukon.
Merci, Dr. Asghali. I'll speak in English for my friend. Jamil just hinted to us that it has to be in English, so I will do that. University is not a factory. We don't prepare students that are dictated by the industry. Of course, throughout the process, I think all the universities, we take on board what the labor market requires. For example, at Open University, we have an advisory committee that enlists the employers, the potential employers, seasoned academics who vet the curriculum. And believe me, if the advisory committee wouldn't recommend that we run a program, we don't do it. So there is involvement of people from the labor market right at the beginning itself and throughout the process. One of the courses that is very popular and students are having jobs immediately is computer science. In what we decided after consultation with the employers is to have one semester free, where students would actually go and acquire professional qualifications that we would require, that we would recognize, so that at the end they have their academic qualification, plus they have a professional qualification that allows them to have a job practically immediately. But you must realize one thing. If an employer comes and tells us that today we would require a set of skills, it takes us 5 years down the lane to get the student out. We need to prepare the curriculum, get it approved, offer it, 3 years, and the student will be out. It's 5 years. So we cannot have something quick fix like today we change it. It's not possible at the university. That's why what we offer is a foundation. We offer skills that allow students to grow, to be able to adapt to their labor market. So this is what we offer, that we focus on. So they can learn, once they leave the university, they can adapt to any environment, they can learn further, they can innovate, they can be creative, they can be problem solvers. These are the skills. Otherwise, most probably wouldn't have offered BA French or history or literature if we had to be only looking at labor market. So we have a balance, we play our role as a university, we ensure that our students have the right skills and competencies. That's why most probably Open University today has over 12,000 students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sukon. Je vais essayer de m'exprimer en anglais. So, tertiary education, labor market, donc, are they in tune? So, perhaps one question is that what are the trends? Perhaps the trends in the labor market in Mauritius and abroad, because many Mauritians are going abroad, going and working abroad. And the curriculum also, what new things are added. I must say that I've been lecturing at the Open University since its creation, BA French, and I must tell you that to prepare a new course, it takes a long time. It's not like that. It takes a long time to prepare just a new course. So it's not so easy. And as Dr. Sukon said, they are in contact with the with people in the industry. There is no, and it's not a factory. That's the danger, meaning they become factories. So now Professor Marie Jansen van Rensburg, Campus Director, Middlesex University, who will perhaps tell us how many years Middlesex exists, since when, and also perhaps as Dr. Sukon said, the courses you propose, and then in relation with the labor market in Mauritius and abroad. Professor.
Thank you very much. So Middlesex have been in Mauritius since 2010, which makes us 12 years young. What courses do we offer? Well, it's a range of courses: law, business management, education, psychology, computer sciences, and many more. You know what Dr. Sukon said exactly? You've taken the words out of my mouth. We are not a factory. We can't prepare people for a specific job. And when I speak to employers tells me that we don't appoint people for the technical skills, we appoint them for the attitudes and their soft skills. And I think that's very important, because that's what we can do at university. The degrees itself will get outdated. I mean, if you just look at technology and how technology have changed things. You know, I studied marketing many, many years ago. Back then, we didn't market on the internet. Does it mean that my degree determined my future? No. What is required is to understand change and to adapt to change. So what we do at Middlesex, we have graduate attributes that we very much incorporate in the curriculum. And I think some of the videos that Vidisha has showed you have shown you that our students are at the forefront of everything we do. Because, for example, we believe in active learning and curiosity. What does that mean? It means that we don't ask you to list the 10 benefits of. It means that we tell you, here's the situation, what happens when. It actually involves that we don't expect you to do passive learning, but to think, to understand that context matters, to be curious. That's something we do every day. So when we teach students, we don't stand in front of them. Students stand in front of the class. Whatever we do with practice at the heart of it. So for computer sciences students, for example, they work with industry on real projects to actually offer industry real solutions. What does that mean? It means that we don't ask them to discuss the principles of coding. We tell them to develop a system for the Economic Development Board, which is implemented in the next year. That's how we work with industry. What else do we need to teach them? We need to teach them how to communicate, because communication is at the heart of what we do. We tell them how to collaborate. They work in teams. They don't work in units, because guess what? When they go into industry, they're not going to be locked up in an office, asked to write down all the benefits. They are going to be required to work in teams. We teach them to be creative, to think differently, to be innovative. We try and foster empathy. And you've seen we're a very international community. So how do we become inclusive? How do we understand that diversity creates value? How do we actually take the best out of everyone to get to a solution? We teach them digital skills. We teach them how to learn, how to study. Things like leadership, Vidisha was talking earlier on. We offer a lot of peer-to-peer support. So it's not just the lecturers. There's student learning assistants, there's student ambassadors, there's student voice leaders. Students have a voice on campus. They co-develop, they co-create with us. So from a very young age, we build their CV. So it's not just academic results, it's I've been a student leader, I have been a student ambassador, I have served on a society, I have arranged this, that, and the other. We try to get them to do problem solving. So we give them problems. So we take it one step further, not just describe, solve a problem, right? And then at the end of the day, at the heart of it is also entrepreneurship and innovation. Because there's only two things that will be constant. And the one thing is change, and the other thing is your attitude. And that's what we teach them. And how do we work with industry? We work with industry from the very beginning. Industry is welcomed in classes. Industry provides us with the problems that we solve. That's how we give back to the community as well. When we do research, we do practice-based research. We try and find solutions. We don't just prove a correlation between A and Y. We actually try and find solution and practices that works for industry. And that's, by the way, something students put on their CVs. They have portfolios. We are starting to think very differently about education. You know, if that's one thing that COVID has taught us, we've been doing things for decades and even centuries. If you go 200 years back, how did students write exams? They sat in a hall and they wrote it by pen and paper. That's nonsense. Today, if you want an answer, you Google it. We need to teach students to think, and that's how we prepare them for the industry. And industry needs to work with tertiary education to provide us the problems to which we can find solutions. And I think that's in a nutshell what we do. And at each of these points, there are support in place.
Okay, thank you, Professor Van Rensburg. As Dr. Sukon said, we should not go, meaning on the other side, meaning only tertiary education, only labor market, because something will be missing. That's why, as Dr. Sukon said, we have courses of BA French, history, because education is not complete if we don't have also culture. We don't have literature, reading, and all that. And I must say that I have been twice at Middlesex University to talk about books, reading. So it's okay. We should not be too, as in this book, Professor Jacobi said. I would like to read this because he writes is at the University of California, Professor Russell Jacobi. Let me take up one issue that I believe underlies all efforts to rethink education, and particularly education that goes beyond teaching simple skills. It is very easy to charge the scientific and technological progress over the last centuries. Everyone can draw up a list from electricity to gas engines to computers. However, moving from the scientific and technological dimensions to those of political, social, and cultural, it is difficult to charge progress. To put this another way, have we improved in the arts of life, in how to conduct ourselves, in the nature of our societies, in the levels of violence and anxiety? Of course, it's very far from the theme this morning, but it's very important to underline that, first of all, we have this, it must be, of course, in tune with the labor market, but that should not be the only preoccupation, only thing to think about. What Russell Jacobi said, and I think he's right. So now it's interesting to listen to Dr. Sabrina Ramsamy Rana, director of a specialized institute in the tertiary sector, Fashion and Design Institute. So, Dr. Ramsamy Rana.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here with you all to share a bit about this small institute, which was in operation since 2009. We are very small. We have around 400 students, not only in fashion. I'm going to talk about the creative industry itself, how our students answer to this labor force. We underestimate a lot about design, but design, aesthetics, is the forefront of all sectors. We touch around all sectors of the economy. We touch around advertising, graphic, building sector, which is one is a prominent that is growing, jewelry sector, fashion and textile, and artisan craft industry. So our students are employed before they graduate. We don't have any problem with employing our students. Our courses are industry-based courses. We review, we have on-demand courses. We are addressing any changes because we are small, that is our strength. So any short courses, any changes that we have in the market, we have the industry that intervene. We send our students around 8 weeks every year, plus we have project-based from the industry. We work in close collaboration with the National Conserving Parks. We work with the Beachcomber hotels, directly addressing what the product they require. We do training for artisans, so we don't have a specific requirement. Our students start from a younger age, are 16 years old. So some students are with us. We create a career path for them till they graduate a degree. We have UK awarded Pearson, which is quite highly technical. It's quite a demanding and very strong program. We have a degree program with University of Technology Mauritius we call top-up programs. So from the 16 years old where they start with NC level 3 and 4, which is equivalent to GCE O level, they can do a top-up with a foundation excellent diploma, and then they join the HND courses that we run in graphic, fashion, textile, and interior design as well. The creative industry is something that is around us. If you look at this hall where we are, everything is visual. This is what appeals the customer to buy stuff, be it a mobile phone, the food you're eating, everything is about aesthetic, and we address that. We don't take it into consideration, but the amount of work, the project, the students, they work really hard to actually produce industry-based. We have students, our graphic designers, who are doing very well for the past, I would say, 13 years. Previously, it was a school of design under the IVTB, so it was 20 years in existence. So most of our team leaders, design leaders, are from the Fashion and Design Institute. We have also practitioners, for example, the courses for the BA Interior Design. We don't have lecturers in-house. We have all practitioners who work on field that are delivering the courses. So the modules are delivered by them. So most of the courses, we have the industry actually intervening. We have customized courses where industry requires skills, the skills gap. Especially recently, we have a strong demand in restructuring all our short courses to adapt to what the market, the labor market, specific skills gap, whether it's textile, graphic, or all the sectors that we're talking about. So we are small, but we are changing. We are able to adapt to new changes that's happening. We have courses for housewives, small entrepreneurs, in all areas that they're offering. If they're doing a food, they want packaging, we address that. So they are the things so it is growing. We are growing. In next month, we're going to change name. We're no longer a Fashion and Design Institute. We'll be going to be an Academy of Design and Innovation, which will be an awarding body due to the strength. So we are present in Africa as well. So we are answering the African students, they don't have any design courses. And we are producing, we have a lot of students from Madagascar, and we're also going to eastern coast of the African. I just want to show you, because you spoke about literature. These books you will see at our stand, we teach literature in Creole, in French, and English. If you have some time, you go around. This was designed and written by one of the graphic students. So we also address a lot about sustainability and materials. We want to bring the traditional, our roots, into literature. And I'm like you, I believe in paper book, not digital books. And this, if you have a look, they have all the illustration, the wording. It's not being published. We're looking for some of the books to be published, and we have some interest. So these are the things that we do. Even the buildings, the architect approaches, if they want maquette done in 3D or all that, we are there. We are in Eben, a small campus, which hopefully will have a bigger one in a few years to come. But this is what we're addressing. We're addressing a niche area which is present in all sectors of the economy. And the creative economy that really respect and give value to this field, I would say, will be a better growth in the economy itself. And I'm happy to say that it is growing. Just to finish, as we are the only design school that produce designers and manufacturing in the jewelry industry, which is one of the biggest export sector in Mauritius. And we have a lot of skill gaps that the industry is approaching us. And we take only 12 students. We don't manufacture students because not everyone has that capacity to be in that sector. So we have a portfolio that we ask students to build before they enter any higher level in our institute. And we have a specific, we coach them, a portfolio development program so that they match. In our degree program, obviously, we have business capacity because we have entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, designers that become entrepreneurs as well, which we work with the universities. We are in partnership with the Birmingham City University, with Pearson UK, and we are going with NIFT India. So these are the partners that we are having. And eventually, we had also Central St. Martin's UK. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amsami Irana. Ladies and gentlemen, after listening to the three speakers, I think that you have some questions concerning this important theme. I know that you said that the lecturers are practitioners. I think that's important between the school and outside.
Yes, yes.
Outside the school.
Definitely.
That's very interesting.
We have that advisory committee, same as anything.
Yeah, that everywhere.
Yeah, because
everywhere.
to develop the program, and we have the people from external examiner from UK as well. They have their say, and they can tell us, give us. But we have also the industry that is present. They also prepare the module with us and deliver.
Yes.
This is the strength of the institute where we have that. And we are encouraging this.
Yes, and that's one of the means to offer equality education. That's very important. And so, if you have some questions, I'm sure you have some questions concerning the theme or concerning the Open University, Middlesex, or the Fashion and Design Institute.
Yeah. Just the fee, sir. We are under the tertiary education where the degrees are, there's no fees, they're subsidized by the government. It's only when they go to master level, then yes, they pay the fees.
Yes?
Yeah, I have one question. How frequent do you meet the professionals which you are going to produce? I mean, how frequent?
So we have two modes of delivery for the courses that we have, part-time and full-time. And in between, we have these students in the second year, we train them to become freelancers. So we have in-house designers where they work with the company at the same time as studying with us. In our top-up degree, all work in industry. So they come after hours. So we have, every frequency, there's a mode that they have to adopt. So then we produce every 3 years or 2 years. With the HND, after the HND, which is the Higher National Diploma, they join the labor market. And already they have that. And then we make an arrangement with the industry that they come into the top-up, they continue as well as working. So it's every year we get students. At the moment, it's a fluctuation of the market, how it reflects. At the moment, all companies are recruiting graphic designers. So we have a big demand for graphic designers at the moment. And we try to encourage students to, yes, they can go on the labor market, but continue their studies until they finish. And this is where the industry is quite flexible for us. Thank you.
Yes? Another question? Don't hesitate. Any question? Because, yes?
Well, working with the industry is not easy. Who is that employer who can tell me what are the skills they would require in 5 years down the line? I can tell you, I've worked with a number of those people. Only one or two can confidently tell you what they would require 5 years down the line. So our life is harder because they cannot tell us now what they would require, which makes our life difficult. Second, like at Open University, we have many people coming from the industry as students, nearly 95% of the students. So we definitely require, like a law student, we would require somebody who is practicing law to teach them because they're already in the system somewhere. So our life is not easy. The difficulty we're having with people coming from the industry is that they are not well versed in teaching and learning, which requires us to empower them. For example, it may be, if I take somebody, a judge coming to teach law, the judge may know everything about law, but may not be able to teach, or may not be able to write a question paper. So these are the practical difficulties we are facing.
Yes?
So at Middlesex, we offer a qualification called the Postgraduate Certificate in Higher Education, which is specifically aimed towards tertiary level trainers or teachers or lecturers. And I think that's also something that we need to understand in the academe. There are a lot of components. You can't just be an industry expert, you also need to be an educationalist. But you can't just be an educationalist, you also need to be a researcher. But you can't just be a researcher, you also need to engage with your community. And I think that's often what employers don't understand. In order to create knowledge, we need to do research. In order to do research, we need to engage with our communities. In order to engage with our communities, we need access. So it's often also a situation where industry says we want A, B, and C, but then they don't give us access to their clients or to their staff when we want to do research. So it is a complex environment, and I think from an academic perspective, there's a huge difference between just teaching and being a proper academic where you contribute to knowledge, you contribute to your society, you contribute to your university, but you also develop students.
As, yes? Yes?
Yeah. Sorry, one last question. Since you are here, it can be out of context, but if you want to be critical, if you expect an improvement from the secondary institutions, what would that be? Please.
Stop learning, stop rote learning. I think secondary schools have a tendency to develop that skill, rote learning. Right? When they reach the university level, they're in trouble because there's no rote learning. Here you have to think, you have to solve problems, you have to think critically, right? So this is the thing that we would tell the student, and I keep on telling the student, right? At university, you don't have tuition, you don't have any such thing. You've got to be there. Learning to learn is important. And I think that's why we have kept induction. During induction, we keep on telling the students how you should learn. Learning to learn is a key skill before you embark on any degree or any program.
I would like to add something on
Yes.
this. We have two categories of students. We have those who directly have A-levels, they finish their HSC, they come and join us. With higher grades, they join us for the degree in HND. We have students who didn't have Form 4, Form 5, from 16 years old, who move with us. In terms of, like you say, for problem solving, addressing, it's the students who started with us at 16 years old. They are the best students that move to the top up, with the BA. The one that join us with HSE, although with good grades, they don't have that sort of education, that is exposure that they had. So we groom our students. The younger they are with us, we groom them to be critical thinkers, analysis, and they work with like real life projects. And it's adapt, and you can see it realizing in real life. Whereas the HSC students, it's a struggle to try them to break that mold that they've learned for 6 years in the secondary. So yeah, there is a big gap where in terms of learning, they just read books and go for exams, get high grades, but when it comes to thinking, it's difficult.
I'll add to that, and I'll be a bit controversial again. It's about balance. Don't just learn. Do. You know, sport is important. In the previous session, we were saying reading is to the mind what sport is to the body. So don't just tell people that their success is determined only by their academic performance. You get late bloomers. You get people who bloom at a later stage. But you know what? It's all about balance. Have some cultural activities embedded in your curriculum. Do sport. Make friends. Have leadership positions. It's about balance. The saddest thing ever is when a student thinks that if they did not get a distinction, they're a failure. They are not. So it's not just about rote learning, I agree. That's the first thing, absolutely. And it's about critical thinking, but it's also about balance.
Okay, as Dr. Sukon said, at the Open University, most students are already working. And there's another important point to refer to what Dr. Amsami said. It's a good thing to take practitioners as lecturers, but they may not be able to teach. That's another thing, teaching. And how do you?
I just because we are a very industry-based project, hands-on courses, modules. So it's not a lot of theory where they stand in a lecture. It's not. We don't do that. So they are with them. The interior design only course that we have 9 practitioners that work all like modules like green building, architect. We are satisfied. If we had any negative, because we have student feedback, how they work, and the results, we have exhibition, we can see the results. So if it was a problem, how they are delivering the practical modules, or even the theory, some theory modules, the theory side we give to universities lecturers.
Yes.
We give university lecturers, they do UTM provide us with entrepreneurship modules, business module, they are lecturers. But for the module, like most of the module, which is more practical, they are delivered by practitioners and they have done very well. And we are using the same formula year and year until like we have some setbacks in this way of operating.
Yes, you are right, because it's not the same thing. Je reviens au français, mais si Dr. Sukon, Dr. Amsami Rana, professeur Van Rensburg, je pense que vous comprenez ce que je vous dis. Merci d'être venu, et merci donc à vous d'être venu à Port-Louis.